You can't have a hot girl summer without a Dreamcatcher first win.
And thanks to everyone who's supporting us. Now we learned a new lesson that we can do everything if we don't give up. So don't give up, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
I know this is not the video people want from me. I know people probably want a sequel to Dodging Disbandment, but to be honest, I don't like talking about the industry. I haven't made an industry-centric video in over 2 years now. Talking about the industry makes me exhausted and unhappy, and forcing myself to make a sequel to Dodging Disbandment would just be stressful and taxing. What I like is cool cinematography, so that's where I'm gonna be. Welcome back, drunks, jesters, and disturbers of the peace. My name is Mira, and this is the cinema of Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher has had a massive video journey, from B-horror movie replicants to silver screen-worthy experiences. Their comebacks have reoccurring themes and storylines, and they aren't strangers to ye olde K-pop trilogy, but their videos themselves also evolve in stages. The videos can be grouped together by pictorial advancements, visual style, genre influences, or effectiveness as music videos, but also as their own pieces of cinema. How you would group them depends entirely on what you value. If you value narrative, you'll group plot lines together. If you value concept or genre or quality of image or upgrades in technology and equipment, you'll group them in different ways. My 2 areas of focus are: number 1, how do the videos present and define the group's identity? And number 2, how do the videos themselves act as their own pieces of art separate from their songs? Just to make it clear, I am not going to be analyzing storylines. This is not about lore or theories or messages of the videos. It's about how the videos are constructed and presented. This video is specifically about major comeback music videos and does not include homemade videos or special releases. This is an appreciation video. It is not a textbook. There are no facts in this video. If you think you learned something, no you didn't. At some point I'm going to say something like, it seems like this video is recreating this genre or this style, and there will be undoubtedly a snippet out there of them saying, actually we were referencing this other genre in this other style, and that's just par for the course, it's going to happen. If you happen to be old college buddies with one of Dreamcatcher's stagehands, and you have it on good record that this shot from Deja Vu is a deliberate reference to the Michael Bay masterpiece Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen, and I don't mention it, it's not because I'm trying to misdirect people, it's not because I'm trying to disrespect the artistry, it's probably just because I've never seen Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen. Because I believe the group's evolution builds over time, I've grouped their videos chronologically into 5 ages: the Stone Age, the Pioneer Age, the Classical Age, the Golden Age, and the Renaissance Age. So let me take you back 1.2 billion years ago, before the beginning of time, to Minx. Minx only has 2 music videos, but I like to think of them as the Stone Age. Why Did You Come to My Home is a really polished, cute concept video with excellent visual quality and pacing. This is such a solid music video that does a great job of introducing the group's concept and charm. The lighting looks very professional, and the sets and outfits are super cute and don't look cheap. This video has great color and contrast, with balanced mattes, pastels, and strong black tones. You can see a clear execution of concept. I still recommend this video for anyone who enjoys a good bit of color pop. Love Shake is actually a remake, and it is noticeably less attractive. The fake outdoor scenes are filmed in cheap box studios, and many of the outfits look ill-fitting or have small stains on them. The nice lighting and color balance is replaced with a dingy finish. You can see the makeup too well at points. The video uses an unnecessary amount of slow fast motion edits, and sometimes the video seems out of sync with the song. I think it would have been fine if we hadn't already seen how well they can do a cute video, but whatever. My favorite part of this video is still the comment section. Chase Me is the official re-debut music video, and the beginning of what I like to call the Pioneer Age. The Pioneer Age is the group's earliest stage, where the videos are mostly service products to their songs. The focus is on the group's new sound and basic aesthetics. Chase Me is clearly riffing on B-horror movies, with its ghostly storyline, cultish styling, and deliberately distressed finish, like the presence of the haunting is physically warping the footage. The video leans into that work with what you got vibe, and the things that we would normally clock as errors, like overlining and unbalanced highlights, are more forgivable because of the style. Shooting through fabric cutouts and flickering hallways adds some atmosphere, but Chase Me is mostly a prototype for the group's later style. It's meant to draw a clear visual division between this new group and the old Minx. Compare Chase Me to Why Did You Come to My Home. Why Did You Come has very balanced color, lighting, and black tones. Chase Me's green tone, desaturation, and lack of defined black shades means that it can be very difficult to tell darker colors apart, and most of the pale colors are in the same shade. Why Did You Come is a textbook K-pop music video, and its cinematography is meant to feel invisible. Chase Me's deliberately rough finish emphasizes the presence of a camera, and it's meant to feel anti-polished compared to the very commercialized Minx. After Chase Me, the pictorial quality of Good Night is noticeable. This video is not leaning into that rough, unpolished B-movie feel. It has crystal clear focus, gorgeous saturation and contrast, and improved lighting and sets. Goodnight expands the color palette, rich pops of blood red surrounded by ocean blue, warm creams and browns, a haunting green forest, yellow glows, arcane pinks and purples. Many of these new colors are best displayed in the creepy study filled with books and yellowed paper, curved glass, red candlesticks, all sorts of goodies that are fun to light. The visual clarity of this video is better than the last, and the presentation feels more confident and established. The choreography scenes have a little more personality, but the video is still pretty repetitive with its editing and compositions, so we get these spooky leg shots. Love it. The video texture relies almost purely on contrasting its colors, sets, and depth of focus, so sections of the video kind of blur together. It's less of a horror movie with camera tension and suspenseful editing, and more like looking at a Halloween I Spy book. And this is fine, because again, these videos aren't meant to stand on their own. They are escorts to their songs. But this video is actually higher quality than I remembered it being. Fly High has arguably the most important improvement in the group's entire videography, their new director Yoo Sung-kyun. While the last two videos were produced by Digipedi, this video is directed by Yoo Sung-kyun, who directs almost all of their videos going forward. Yoo Sung-kyun has very strong judgment and a large lexicon of shots. This means that the videos have a ton of new styles and shots to play with, but Yoo Sung-kyun is specifically picking what styles and shots fit each individual video. Up until now, the shots were basically the same: cool set shot, vague detail shot, intense reaction shot, cubic dance shot. These shots have pretty much the same duration, the same framing, and the same movements. These first two videos are using the exact same devices all the time, which makes them feel and look very samey. But in Fly High, we finally see variation of compositions, and the video doesn't have to over-edit to keep the sequence from feeling repetitive. Between Chase Me and Fly High, the finish becomes cleaner and less deliberately agitated. The color correction doesn't flatten or overline the subjects, and we begin to see more creative camera work. We see depth and perspective being used more creatively, the sets become more elaborate, the saturation is even and nuanced, and the differences in hues and shades are really well defined. Instead of the unsteady green and overblown exposure, we can see clean, warm, and cool tints and power colors. Fly High is their first video shot on location, and it introduces this low-key lighting style that Yoo Sung-kyun loves. The reason I include Fly High in this video age is that it doesn't provide any growth related to my two main questions. How do the videos function as their own art pieces, and how do the videos display the group's identity? The function of Fly High is still as a service piece to its song. The dance sequences still feel disconnected and obligatory because music videos gotta dance. You can see that none of the creative compositions are used during these scenes, and the camera and framing are very stagnant. Even with all the cool new shots, there's still filler in this video, and the lasting impression of Fly High isn't as strong as the next couple of videos. Again, what you value will change how you group them. For me personally, the next couple of videos are so far ahead in terms of expression and performance, they start a whole new era for the group. This is the classical age. This is the age where the group is at its most balanced, no longer below their songs in the order of importance. Here, the videos and songs have equal strength in presentation and expression. This age emphasizes the group's performance aspects, their appeals as idols, and their chemistry as a group, and it is my personal favorite of their videos. I know it's not as flashy and cinematically ball-busting as later videos, but I love how defined their image as a group becomes. This era starts with my personal favorite video, You and I. From the first 15 seconds, you can get a taste of how far this video takes their image. The atmosphere of this video is much more complete and feels less regurgitated and derivative. Performance and group chemistry are focal points of this video instead of being disconnected, obligatory asides. Last era, things like choreography, member shots, and general spookery were sort of plugged in to fill the gaps, but now they're some of the most intriguing parts of the video. You and I does an incredible job of showcasing its artistic and technological advancements. Cut together between an iconic dance and a spooky creature feature, this music video is brilliantly paced. The timing and variety of dance shots to story shots, set scenes to member scenes, close-ups to wides, color changes and mood shifts are all plotted to the larger atmosphere of the video. Emotional turning points are partnered with exciting choreography, and story-heavy sequences are laced together with aesthetic spreads that flesh out the world and the members. The verses focus on story sequences and shots of the members, while the chorus centers the strong choreography and girl group polish. You and I presents powerful and unique moments for each member while also firmly stating the strengths of the group's chemistry. You and I is determined to make you notice that these are the right idols for the group. Whether through side scenes, clothing, details in the dance, or vocals, every member is invited to act as a centerpiece to the video. Part of my love for this video is purely the visual design. The use of beautiful jewel colors like blood red and seafoam green are balanced by these wintry snow scenes and faded vintage side rooms. The antique influences in the major set pieces, the punkish leather outfits, and the spooky, evocative choreography combine to create this edgy, vampiric style that 14-year-old me would have died over. This video introduces both the shuddering camera crawl and the roving dance shot, and marks the first instance of choreography contributing to a video's cinematic atmosphere. You and I was, at the time, the most involved combination of composition, camera movement, and lighting changes, and it really upped the ante in terms of the dance shots. You and I takes advantage of an increased budget to show off the group's performance abilities. The best shots in this video are often dance shots, and the editing really prioritizes the storytelling of the dance itself. The sets are cleverly designed to create composition where there otherwise isn't. These angled walls in the house set mean that even a basic squared-up shot still has unique angles and linear depth. A radial formation like this looks amazing in this set, especially at this low angle where our eyes can scoop upwards and outwards, catching layers of detail and bouncing back around to the subject. In this shot, the group takes a flatter formation, but the camera uses the solid border of walls and floors to make the shot feel antique and storybook. The addition of windows and cutouts means that moving in any direction will create visual slide and add dimensions of motion to the picture. The side scenes are also distinct and atmospheric, like this spiderweb scene. Because of the topsy-turvy angles and lines, there is no up or down in a set like this. The darkroom is filled with a vivid red bordering on pink, a perfect opposite to that candied blue-green of the main set. Finally, we have a fantastical scene on a snowy peak against a sky of cold blue nebulas. The camera work is active and creative, weaving in and out of the choreography and sets. It's awesome to see the camera communicating with the details of the scene, watching a combination of camera work and choreography come together in the final edit. Feeling like sets and bodies are passing by the camera elevates the complexity of the shot and gives energy and depth to the sequence. The compositions themselves are also involved and evocative. You can see where they've learned from their older videos. Now the camera has personality without sacrificing visual clarity. The camera can become stylistically confused without making the audience strain to catch the subject. Little details like this angled rumble as the lights go fuzzy make the video feel textured and tonal. Hats off to the excellent lighting. There's gorgeous low-key lighting, colored fills, parallel shots between completely darkened and delicately overexposed. The effects lighting is awesome. Ripples reflected off mirrors and glass, a thunderstorm in the back of the house, spotlights passing outside the windows, and the flickering aperture in the ceiling all emphasize spectacle and genre. You and I isn't just interested in being cinematic, but uses the group's increasing video quality to push a concept of supernatural pop stardom. This video makes a concrete statement about the group's visual identity and performance and puts them squarely in the K-pop visual game. This video doesn't feel like Halloween costumes stuck with dance segments and embraces traditional K-pop elements as part of the group's cinematic perspective. You and I presents the group as a theatrically driven immersive experience with elements of horror, fantasy, sci-fi, and classic K-pop princess Moxie. I would call You and I an instant classic and one of the best videos of 2018. Here we go, one of my all-time favorites, What? The video that is, in my opinion, the most unfairly underrated of the entire batch. The first thing you notice about this video is color. This video pops. It is very high saturation, but also a wide range of hues. There's just so many colors to look at, and they all stand out with balance. From these bright oranges and moody royal purples, these stark silvers and blacks and reds. This is the Halloween costume party of videos, and it is eye candy. This video looks straight out of a comic book. What has really cool editing manipulations that mimic sequential paneling, the linear divisions of frame and dramatic color palettes turn this video into a moving comic book. If Bad Boy is K-pop's neo-noir, then What is K-pop's neon noir? You can pause this video at any point and catch something visually striking, like intense shadows and split-focus compositions. In the Pioneer Age, members tended to be a little bit more interchangeable, a little bit more uniform, but in What, each member is styled as her own comic book character in this city of colors and nightmares. What gives a little bit of style and mystique to each girl. When they all come together in the group shots, it feels like a team-up between defined characters with their own skills and powers and backstories. This is an entirely different way to frame the group and their chemistry, and it feels so satisfying. The editing is top tier. You can tell they put all of their best choreo shots into the final cut. Slow and thematic asides are juiced up by these powerful bursts of choreography. The dance scenes electrify this video like a live wire. Going from a pensive facial shot to an intense dance sequence rich with layers and detailed movements keeps the video propulsive and dramatic. The dance shots are communicating with the video's core scenes instead of feeling like random inserts. Not only is the choreography edited perfectly to the asides, but the shots themselves are creative and dynamic. Look at that! This choreography is spiked with adrenaline and gives the video a constant through line of motion. This video is fucking sick, and I wish they performed this song more. The live stages for this era were some of the most exciting, and every now and again I'll just rediscover it and I can't listen to anything but What. What has so much personality and really lets the members eat the frames for all they're worth. This video is easily the one I turn to for a guaranteed good time, and 6 days out of 7 you can catch me chilling in the comment section. Ooh boy, if you are a diehard Puri fan, more power to you. To me, Puri is very much the middle child of DC videos. This video was directed by Hong Won-ki instead of Yoo Sung-kyun, and to me it just kind of looks underdeveloped. Half of it is really good with these really pretty dance scenes. It has a striking red-pink color palette against this white background. The video has some absolutely massive sets, which allows for some interesting lighting. There's expansive blocking. You got vintage props and nightgowns for the spookiness, and the members have these awesome bright hair colors. It's very K-pop. But the cinematography just doesn't have much personality. Most of the compositions are basic point and shoot. Puri has an abundance of hallway shots. The asides are almost all from the exact same setup and angle, and it uses a lot of that burping fast motion editing. The editing is just something else. Pick any 5 seconds of the video and you'll find something that could have been visually upgraded, and it just isn't. I'm not saying this video is bad, I'm not saying I don't like it, but I do think Puri is the least spectacular of the era and arguably of the videography. I think the big flaw is that it pays a lot of attention to the story sequences, but just doesn't do much with them visually. The video is all about letting you watch these creepy moments play out without interference from the camera, and that would be fine in almost any other video, but this video is really goofy. This song is pretty dark. It has themes of panic and anxiety and grief, loss of hope, and even suicide, and the visuals look like this.
Surprise, bitch. I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
This song is so serious and alarming, and this video is not trying to deliberately goof the visuals like they were in Chase Me. It just it looks like this. Whatever the content of your storyline, if it looks visually underwhelming and your actors are giving 100% reactions to it, it's gonna come off a little goofy. If they intended Puri to be a comedy, 10 out of 10. If they didn't, oops.
The cerebral programming. Quick, batch it in here.
I will say I like that Puri gives a lot of attention to each member. Each one has her own subplot and set pieces. The producers are finally getting hands-on with the rap sections, and it's really charming to see the girls deliver these full-out theatrical performances. Puri really emphasizes each of the girls' individual silhouettes, so we get progress on group identity if nothing else. So that concludes the epic classical age. This era presents the group's image at its most balanced to the group itself. These videos, in my opinion, do a really good job of showing who the group are as a whole. So you get beautiful cinematography and you get group identity as a complete package. We are now entering the golden age. In the last age, we saw their videos become equal companions to their music, but this is the era where their videos go beyond music videos and become their own individual pieces of art. You can watch any of these videos without the sound and still experience a unique and complete art piece. Starting with the Holy Grail, the Citizen Kane of DC videos, Deja Vu. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a time when Deja Vu was like people's go-to video for Dreamcatcher cinematography. Nowadays, I see some hardline fighters for Bokeh or Odd Eye, but for a period of time, I think everyone agreed Deja Vu was the prettiest sister. I chose this video as the start of the golden age because this is the first of their videos that acts as its own art piece entirely independent of its song or function as a music video. You can watch Deja Vu on mute and still reach satiety by the end just from the filmmaking, and listening to the song alone will not accomplish the art of the video. This video jumps out because of the choices in direction and execution. Yoo Sung-kyun is back in the director's seat, and this video was a collaboration with the game developing company Vespa, which is where you get the cool generated backgrounds and effects. I think Deja Vu is inspired by fantasy spreads, like the kind you see in role-playing manuals, period films, and gaming art. Deja Vu is deliberately trying to be more cinematic by creating shots that remind me a bit of tableau compositions. And I'm using this term really roughly, but to oversimplify, tableau cinema mimics dramatic painting compositions. Tableau cinema focuses on emphatic visual stylization seen through evocatively framed shots and extremely specific staging within a set. Tableau shots are really common in period pieces, romances, and fantasy video games. In Deja Vu, these tableau-esque compositions are usually symmetrical set shots with strong linear divisions and one-point perspectives. Here in Deja Vu, we see a myriad of fantasy tableaus.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
A table scene a little reminiscent of The Last Supper by Da Vinci, a raised burial in striking cobalt blue. This central throne room shows us 4 different tableaus, each with its own major coloring and lighting techniques. I think these tableaus bring the right kind of arcane drama to the narrative themes of betrayal, power struggles, and fantasy royalty. There are a few tools that give Deja Vu its unique visual gravity. Number 1, longer shots. This video is very precious with its cuts. The shots are very enduring. You're meant to stare at the whole image and soak up every detail. This simple choice makes the video very immersive. The video wants to look less like a music video and more like a film. Number 2, minimal camera work. The major camera movements are restricted to slow push, dolly, and revolving shots. All of that cool weaving and fun movement from the other videos is removed. The camera does not want to draw attention to itself. There's only one shot in the whole video where the camera feels evident, but it's this nice trick shot, so it doesn't really break immersion. Number 3, color. Color is everything. It gives tone, it gives emotion, and this video is gorgeously saturated. Each scene is flooded with zones of color, and the shots use color to draw your attention across the screen, honing in on the brightest pieces or directing your eyes across the frame with floods and washes. Number 4, genre. This video is high fantasy from start to finish. Cathedral-esque throne rooms, exquisite banquets, suits of armor, silvered candelabras, rich red cloth, perfect blue roses, long flowing hair and long flowing dresses, a big fucking sword. Sets, props, and outfits feel fashioned to each member, pushing the image of an RPG character selection screen. We also have a lot of practical effects and special effects. A practical throne room is backed by a generated sky, practical fire versus generated suns and butterflies. Deja Vu feels like a fantasy world you can explore, fully designed buildings and evocative characters, and a fantastical backdrop behind the edge of the sandbox. Number 5, lighting. Deja Vu uses a lot of luminous lighting. The lighting feels heavy and full, the highlights are softened, and the shadows are colored. Much of the lighting feels gauzy and glamorous, and the various angles, obstructions, and pathways help shape the light within a scene. The moods of the scenes are dictated by soft fills and partial shadows, staging the faces and objects dramatically. Powerful silhouettes against colored fills, bright clothes and hair in front of dark voids, downward gossamer lighting leaves faces in shadows while reflecting off shiny black leather. In the first pre-chorus, slanting blue sunbeams cloud the air from one side, reflecting off the marble and color washing the scene from left to right. In the second pre-chorus, balanced warm lighting strengthens the lines and borders in the scene, sharpening the image and allowing us to see the tiny details at the very back of the set. Deja Vu puts emphasis on beauty in a new way. Slow, powerful moments are magnified to feel larger than life, and even the tiny slivers of light, the careful details of an outfit, or the unique shifts in color are pressed into each frame as key moments. This video demonstrates an elevated atmosphere and a devotion to framing devices. Each shot in Deja Vu is carefully tailored and presented to take this video beyond the boundaries of its song. It becomes its own art piece and begins a new era of Dreamcatcher cinematography.
Please
is the first of the Dystopia Tree of Language trilogy. Scream is a very fun stage-box-style music video with a mischievous, witchy heart. Scream is all supernatural gothicism and dark fantasy with the dramatic zooms and pop palettes of action cinema. Despite its brooding lyrics, Scream is undeniably fun with its explosive color combinations, campy generated effects, and overdramatic power shots. Scream is so over-the-top shoot-the-moon awesome. Scream is a mix of bold, hot colors and vintage black and white. Colored light is huge in this video. Shiny confetti adds gold flashes and highlights, while smoke fills the room with a single steady purple. Gorgeous three-point lighting and off-center compositions mix with vivid color lighting and central framing. The mobility of the camera in Scream is so refreshing after the slow and steady déjà vu, and the group's experimentation can be felt through the pulsing zooms and stuttering dollies. The camera will hunt its subject in a long shot before pulling in for a dramatic close-up, or shift from an aggressive wobble to a clean, violent zoom. Where Déjà Vu pushed for a more cinematic aesthetic, Scream has a theatrical core under its pulpy film finish. Scream wants you to be aware of its stage box sets lit up with ground lights and filled with sand. This video is split down the middle, half operatic and gothic with exaggerated decor and vintage outfits, massive ornate umbrellas, spider trees, fuchsia magic auras, artificial thunder, black lace dresses, feather masks, and yes, a big fucking sword. These scenes have very defined subjects in a shallow depth of field, pressing all of the focus onto the face and blurring the background. The depth of field is sometimes so rigid, the subject will roll in and out of focus as the camera moves. The other half is dark fantasy pulp straight out of ArtStation and Pathfinder cover art. This half is computer-generated eye candy and cinematic trailer shots. Instead of stage boxes and theater props, these sequences feature glowing generated landscapes, digital effects, added backgrounds and filters, and lenses that expand the depth and flood the images into dramatic wides. Deeper focus sharpens the strong black lines of the dancers, and precise lighting creates clean-cut shadows. While the stage box scenes use colored shadows and fills, this scene uses intense black tones. Scream is a sweet combination of cinematic fantasy and gothic theater boxes. The finished product is a flipbook of different cinematic devices and fantastical images, and it was definitely a risky move after Déjà Vu, but I think it came together perfectly due to the sheer amount of pulp and drama. A lot of people joined the boat during this era, and this music video just feels so special and emblematic of everything they've achieved. I think Scream is a classic. Scream now, scream forever. Bokeh is the true spiritual successor to What? A moving graphic novel of gorgeous colors, blood-pumping dance cuts, and glorious fantasy effigies. Instead of supernatural creepy crawlies, Bokeh has a menacing urban art style that just pops with creativity. I would call this video a pretty apocalypse. It's a quirky sci-fi style with a lot of moxie. It definitely reminds me of neo-noir anime, dripping industrial streets mixed with gauzy shots of paradise. These intense urban scenes are lit in revolving lemonade pink and astral blue, like a pastel emergency siren, with metal pipes stretching back into dim graffitied corners and neon signs. With the setting, the lighting, the outfits, and the abrasive editing, you can really feel the gothic punk influences. In the temple, delicate white blossoms and green ferns turn hazy under soft exposure. Many of the compositions in these scenes are derived from depictions of folklore and mythology, nymphs, dryads, and seasonal goddesses. It evokes feelings of untouchable beauty and ancient preserved sacraments, things the other world has long forgotten. Everything about Bokeh just looks really polished and expensive, with a matte finish and colors just a bit down from neon. I love this peppy Easter palette of thick, solid hues: pink, yellow, blue, green, gold. You can really feel how much respect is put on the rap sections during this age. Kahyan's sequence puts off-color stutters on the beat, which makes the image pound in time with the flow of the music. I love how she challenges the camera and the two rove around each other in a framing battle, accented by punch cuts of her expressions and interjections. Dami used to get a few short clips here and there, usually on a dance set, but here she has her own set, her own groupies, her own camera work, a shiny black and white filter, perfectly timed blip cuts, and scenes of madness blurring together to the beat of her rhythm. The Golden Age shows just how much the production team has come to trust her to handle her scenes, and they give her the protagonist attention they usually reserve for Yoohyun. Bokeh feels clean and sharp with an editorial finish. Instead of the trembling camera from Scream, this video feels more inspired by mythological paintings and stylized photography. Everything feels maximally posed. The sets feel a little like concept photography sets. The marble busts with tape over the mouth, the linear stretch of the street, the monolithic pillars and yawning arches of the stone temple. Bokeh is a video with no filler. Similar to Deja Vu, each composition in Bokeh feels aesthetically heightened through framing, lighting, and color. Every image in Bokeh is so emphatic that you can turn off the music and still be immersed. It really feels like every frame exists to push the level of enjoyment and visual style, as if everybody came on set on the same day and said, "Guys, I just had the coolest idea." This video is just in love with its own images. While I think some might argue that it's a companion piece to its song more than its own art piece, I think it's just as strong as the other entries in the Golden Age due to the unreal level of visual appeal in every frame. It feels like a collection of a bunch of mini art pieces. I think there's definitely room for some debate about whether Odd Eye is a Golden Age video or not. Odd Eye is definitely the transition stage. Its artistic presence is very Golden Age, but its experimental tone slots it between this age and the next. If you put it in the next age, you'd still be right on the money. Unlike Scream or Deja Vu, Odd Eye has a cyberpunk influence, that key juxtaposition between hyper-advanced technology and dilapidated natural life. Holograms, neon transportation, communication and identification devices, interplanar portals and power sources. Meanwhile, the humans hang out in graffitied toilet stalls, surreal motel rooms, and cramped apartments. There is no natural light in this video. Shadowy living spaces are lit by piercing power cords or neon staffs. Artificial light is pumped through vents while darkness regularly swallows key details. The best lit sets are clinical and cold, and this constant flat-faced lighting makes the members look like graphically generated characters, giving them the impression of staring directly into the computer monitor. Colors are split between stinging neons and grungy mattes. Unnatural, processed colors are given the highest values in brightness. This video is claustrophobic, shot in tight stalls in train cars or wrapped in digitized signs and sludge. Members are often crammed into corners, surrounded by screens, or barred in by thick linear borders. Color spreads, geometric lines, and broken edges limit the freedom of each member within the space of the frame. In Odd Eye, technology is an invasive species against nature, a seemingly harmless tool turned into a physiological necessity and a neural obsession. Frequency blurs, colored static, and choking clutter strangle reality as the digital world leaks through the screen. Visually, Odd Eye does a really nice job of recreating that nauseating relationship we have with technology. Again, I'm not really interested in analyzing narratives or storylines here, but I do like how the video nails how technology and social media can be addictive. The one thing Odd Eye could lose is the over-editing. People always get upset with me when I say that a video's editing is unsuited to its content, but I really feel like that's the case with Odd Eye. An edit that sacrifices visual clarity for an attempt at tension or genre or narrative is a kindergarten choice. Cluttered flash editing sours the impact. It feels like they didn't have faith in the choreography or the delivery, so they're constantly cutting it up. Cutting their most alluring moments with basic hallway shots and close-ups waters down what could have been a more impactful video. I'm also not a huge fan of when people attempt to come up with profound metaphorical excuses for these weaknesses, but Mira, it reflects the distorted realities and the style of the genre. I know, it just feels like justifying a flawed execution with empty artistic sayings. The generated effects, compositions, lighting, and blocking already accomplish this. Flash cuts just cheapen the video, and I wish editors would move beyond this technique. The best cyberpunk stories are often slow and immersive. Odd Eye, like all videos, is bound by presentation and unfortunately gets in its own way. However, I do feel that the overall video is stronger than its flaws and it triumphs as an art piece. Odd Eye concludes the gorgeous Golden Age, one of the most impactful and visually stunning eras for the group. So we finished the Golden Age and we enter the current age of cinematography, what I like to call the Renaissance Age. The tricky thing about this age is that it's still developing, and anything that I say in this video could be outdated by the end of the year. So far, this age is characterized by experimental techniques, avant-garde imagery, and shows the group playing not just with music video styles, but the idea of what a music video is and could be. The first video in the Renaissance Age is Because. Because feels very different from the Golden Age videos. Instead of being uber cinematic, Because leans a lot more into that music video feeling. It trades that immersive fantasy style for something more avant-garde. Instead of being a separate film art piece or a companion piece to a song, Because wants you to know that you're in a music video. On-site location shooting is mixed with man-made box sets, and the camera will pull back to deliberately reveal the boundaries of the set. This video wants you to be aware that you're being deceived, in one moment totally immersed in the world, and the next shown that reality is nothing more than a built set. This video is both inviting and voyeuristic, purposefully reminding you that everything you see is an illusion while happily inviting you deeper. Because is very inspired by contemporary horror movies, specifically the Jordan Peele doppelganger movie Us, which is where you get the duplicates of the members, the replacements, and some of the dance moves. A lot of imagery in Because focuses on symbolic doubles, black and white, sweet and sinister, pretty and dirty. There's a lot of horror imagery in this video, creepy haunted houses, dark defunct carnivals, underground hiding places. This video is an artsy collage of double images, bright things and scary things, false cheer and obsession, but also different music video styles. Voyeurism is big in this video. Many of the techniques in the video give off the feeling of being looked at. In the opening, a continuous motion shot passes the viewer from subject to subject on the cue of eye contact. Many of the dance sequences are shot with a fisheye lens, and several of the side scenes use mirrors to alter your perception. Things like split-screen editing, bleeding transitions, and careful staging all deliberately pull your eye across the screen. The video is conscious of its own control, and it can be hard to make yourself look anywhere except where the video directs you. Because has a sort of meta construction, in the world of the video, props like masks, curtains, smoke, and mirrors are all little tags to the theme, and the outfits themselves are often juxtaposed. Outside the world of the video, in the construction itself, there's a mix of full sets and partial sets, on-site and in-studio. Some sequences feel totally cinematic, seconds later it's MTV Music Night. It's playing with different music video styles, and it jars you into remembering you're watching a music video. Because is so eager to give away its own fourth wall through the editing and the camera work. Not only is there voyeurism in the world of the video, the frame of the video being a video is part of Because's deception. The video is prodding the audience to realize that their perception is being distorted, and that the nature of the medium itself is two-faced. Deja Vu doesn't know that it's a music video. Because knows what it is and wants you to know that it knows. You've been duped. It's as if the video has a consciousness, and it's kind of sadistic. It wants to deceive you, but it also wants credit for doing such a good job. Because would stab you in the dark and then show up to your funeral to watch your family cry. Maison is Dreamcatcher's most recent comeback as of the making of this video, and it definitely fits with my theory that the Renaissance Age is going to focus on experimental film techniques. If you can't tell already, this video is almost entirely shot on CGI backgrounds. Okay, so the common response is that since Maison was about saving the planet, it was more environmentally friendly to not build full sets. While I think that this is a noble sentiment and it definitely makes sense, this decision does determine the cinematic quality. So I'm gonna go over all the things everyone has already pointed out about the video. First, and probably the most obvious, the computer-generated worlds and sets are not scaled to the actual footage, so the dance scenes in particular look hilarious. There are some strange edges and borders around the imported footage, and there are moments when the imported footage has a camera movement, like a jump or a zoom or a dolly, but the background just doesn't follow. The farther back in the viewpoint you go, the funnier the footage looks. The shadows are not consistent with the generated light sources. There are shadows missing, there are light sources that don't match up, and sometimes people just look like they're floating when they're not supposed to. Even the purely generated elements aren't quite lit properly, and the colors feel altered by a broad hue filter, which flattens them. The visual design of Maison feels like it's retreading the same motifs as the Dystopia trilogy. A dark, dismal, negative world is juxtaposed with a heavenly, beautiful, positive world, and the values the group is singing about are represented metaphorically by these physical realms. This feels exactly like Bokeh, a little like Odd Eye, just without the lovely photogenic sets. Again, I think it's a noble effort, but Maison feels a little like microwave leftovers of past eras. So with that said, I personally think this video is awesome. I grew up with video games and early CG movies that had this exact rendering. I played Icewind Dale from the year 2000. You cannot hurt me. This is the Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 of K-pop music videos. When they lean into the goofy CGI and the fantastical apocalyptic aesthetics, it actually looks kind of rad. Any scene with portals, monsters, magic ladies killing people, that is my entire brand. I mean, it's not their most stunning video, but I like it. I think it's fun, and it gives us a hint of where this new age of videos could go. I think the Renaissance age is expanding their idea of music videos themselves. At this point, the group is beyond foundational need, so they can experiment with their tools, but also with their idea of music videos. I'm really excited to see what they do next. And that is all she wrote. It's kind of a rare honor to watch a group grow from ragtag homespun videos to cinematic Goliaths. Their evolution shows a passion for genre and filmmaking and a love of classic girl group moxie and K-pop weirdness. They've created one of the most immersive visual experiences in this already stunning industry. Their videography really feels like lightning in a bottle, a once-in-a-lifetime marvel of technological advancements and phantasmal artistic triumphs. Here's to another 5 years.